Welcome to the Transform Sales Podcast, where forward-thinking business leaders come to share their experiences and ideas, learn from each other, and amplify their results together.
What's up, everybody? Transform Sales Podcast, the software demo review series. My guest, Ved, the CEO or founder of LeadDelta. Me and Ved go way back. We know each other through Mr. Sean Finder, and now we finally meet again. How are you, buddy?
Doing well. Good to see Amir, and shout out to our friend Sean Finder. We should have him on a pod soon as well.
He needs to get permission, but if we can get him cleared, he's allowed to join. We will get that there. Before we jump into your listing, right? For this podcast, we really like to get founders to kind of focus in on a specific listing, persona, business challenge that they help, and just really talk about more of the deliverables needed, success metrics that they measure your software on, right? But maybe you could tell people just quickly that, your background and how you came up with the name of LeadDelta before we jump into your listing.
100%. Well, so I've been in software or building software for the past 10 years. As everyone else, pretty much I started by building software for others, made some money there, and then I was like, it's about time that I, build my own software and build my own products. And so that brought me to Canada, where I started my first business, sold for assets. Then the second business was in an email automation space where Sean and I met, and, we successfully exited that business. And then I was thinking a little bit about the future, and, AI already started being a thing, that we had a whole bunch of data out there on the market. And I started questioning, myself and people around me, what's not going to change in the future? What is really going to be there, even in an agentic world, where my agent is talking to your agent. And it's exactly this. It's a human relationship. And it's, I wanted to do something about it or something in the space. And so, as name says, most people think LeadDelta has to actually do with leads, when in fact lead is a short abbreviation for leadership and basically the delta it creates when deployed appropriately. Because at the time when I was shipping LeadDelta, at least the first versions, we started seeing diminishing returns on many of the go-to-market tactics. And so that was 3.5, even more years ago. And we started building first versions, and, people started really understanding, that their professional relationships, their LinkedIn network is actually very powerful. And I think we're at the pinnacle at this stage in 2025 of this strategy. So actually we're positioned well to capture the value.
I love it. Before we're listing, so we got LeadDelta right here.
Beautiful.
Check it out, right? Let's talk about. So I kind of want to focus in on your listing about how you help 3 times faster LinkedIn networking for sales and recruitment teams with shared workspaces and AI messaging. I want to talk deep about this if you're down for that kind of conversation. Talk to me a little bit about before we just jump into the demo and LeadDelta. Talk to me a little bit about the business challenges that buyers were facing and what alternatives they were using before LeadDelta existed.
Yeah, that's a great question. People were mostly spending time on LinkedIn, sometime even doom scrolling, and they keep accepting strangers and different folks on LinkedIn. Some recruiters, especially executive recruiters, account executives that are pretty much collaborative. So account executives that are not competing with others, they would pretty much use spreadsheets. Everything would default back to Google spreadsheets or Excels. And honestly, it was just such an easy opportunity to go after. We were LinkedIn is already a solid tool. It could use some tweaking and modifying to be even better. And so, we just made.
So buyers are using LinkedIn Navigator, right? And then the challenges they faced was that, if I understand correctly, the targeting was off. They were having conversations with the wrong people. Maybe you could expand on that. What was that big challenge? That
100%. People were basically, as I said, they were using spreadsheets. They were downloading data back and forth. They didn't have a centralized place, to have all their connections in one spot. And basically, you end up with standard sales issues like super long cycles, salespeople are not collaborating, the data is incorrect, usual stuff. And so and on top of all of that, like you have no context from people, like who you connected, when you connected, why you connected, right? Like, and so it kind of feels weird to reach out to them. So those were like, and I could go on and on. Like inbox is messy, so you keep missing opportunities, from people you worked hard to connect to and get into the account. And so we're just leaving dollars on the table.
Makes sense to me. I guess it's demo time. So for just to recap, guys, so basically LinkedIn, awesome place to generate leads, awesome place for sales teams to work. Not really designed for collaboration, not really designed for companies to get the reporting they need and to ultimately get the right clients and buyers, right? How do you feel about a little bit of a demo?
Let's do it, man. Seeing is believing.
All right.
Let me share my screen real quick. As we said, LeadDelta, CRM for networking, it helps you enrich your contacts, bring your team together and kind of sell together, recruit together, fundraise together, market together, all from your network. So first thing here that we can see is a homepage. We started with super simple onboarding. If you go to your network on LinkedIn and if you go to your connections, you just get an endless list, right? And so during the onboarding with LeadDelta, what we do for you guys, within 2 minutes, we're going to turn this into that, right? So you're going to have a beautifully designed table with all information. And what I can tell you here is that you own this table. You own this data.
Yeah.
You can export all your connections, including your tags and notes, and you can manipulate it, enrich it elsewhere, or enrich it inside LeadDelta. Why going anywhere when you can do it here? Just recently, we shipped a new feature, so I'm just going to show this in a sec, where you can enrich personal email, business email, and a phone number of any of your connection. And guess what? It doesn't even have to be a connection. It can be like a second, third degree person you're trying to prospect, right?
Yeah.
Super simple. You can select any of these, click continue, enrich, and that's about it. Like give it a few seconds and it's going to get you the data that you need. Perfect. Another thing that LeadDelta really has, it's super easy to search these contacts. So you can search based on a name, headline, job title, company, location, but also you can do a whole bunch of filtering. And now this is really cool because as you can tell here, I have, 2,000 connections, but inside my LeadDelta, I actually have 60,000 connections almost. How so?
Followers.
Yeah, this is all the duplicated contacts network between me and my team. So
and their first connections as well.
Oh yeah, exactly. And so what we can do now, we can do all sorts of different searches. So I can say, let's look at all the trials, LeadDelta trials that we have in our network. And then let's look at everyone we messaged last month. Boom. Now I have a very targeted list of people we reached out to. I can even see when, 2 days ago, a day ago, 5 days ago, etc. And I can also see who are the shared connections, right, within my team.
And that's good for like getting somebody to do group chat or rebomb, right? Team selling.
Absolutely. So what I can do now, I can select these contacts and I can message them. I can send a personalized message or use any of my templates. And basically, boom, we're going to send these personalized messages via LinkedIn in a matter of a second. So you can build a little light campaign out of this and basically speed up the whole flow.
You automate the messages or is it kind of like one by one?
Well, we send them one by one. It's in the back. So you can set up to 25. And the reason we do that, we just want to stay compliant with LinkedIn. Obviously, we don't want to produce spam and get into.
It's designed for quality account based selling.
100%. So, for example, even like let's say I want to visit this person's profile, the sidebar will follow me there. So, just as in LeadDelta, as in app, I can create tasks here. I can say follow up. I can assign someone on my team, or I can just basically set a reminder for myself and just call it a day, right? I won't forget to follow up with Stefan from Germany. I can also add notes. I can tag any of my teammates in a note. I'll just tag myself in this instance. Met at Omar conference. In 2023. Because I still remember. Boom, save note. Now this will follow me wherever I go. Plus, my teammates will be able to see this. Okay, so this is just one example of a workflow. But
I got one question for you.
Yeah.
And obviously, I know the tool wasn't not focused on that, but are you able to see what connections you have are like the least engaged in your content or engaged in LinkedIn? Because for somebody like me, I got 30,000 connections and I'm often wanting to delete connections. Yes. And I want to delete the people that are like the least valuable in my network.
That's a great question. So this is something we've been working on. We currently don't have that. However, what you can do is, if you go to the dashboard, you can see particular countries or, job titles or industries.
And you hit delete those people.
Exactly. And you can just simply remove them, like for example.
I just see developers all the time. Sorry, developers.
There you go. Yeah. So basically you can quickly select any of these, click remove, and that's it. We're going to remove them from LinkedIn. We're still going to keep them inside LeadDelta. So if you ever want to come back to them, if you want to keep
when you remove somebody, does it keep them following? Like what happens if you're like, I don't want to remove the connection, but I don't want to remove them following?
Well, that's manipulated by LinkedIn, so we can't enforce that. So basically, if you flush someone out of your network, the following is going out as well, and that's structured by LinkedIn that way. There's nothing we can do about it. Cool. So basically, another thing is, you can for most companies, we have an enrichment built in for companies, so you can just quickly glance over companies, see if this is the right fit for you guys for your ABM approach or account based approach. Another thing is, as I've shown just a little bit before, there's a Kanban. You can customize this any way you want. You can move people around. We'll automatically change tags for them. Assign automated tags and things like that. Super cool for when you are doing like a combined outreach between you and your team, so you can see who's going after whom. And just an amazing thing that LinkedIn is supposed to have, but does not have. Cool. So a couple of other things, and I'll let you shoot some questions, Amir. Inbox, super important thing with LeadDelta. We are so privacy focused. Only you can see your messages. But we tend to think that you leave dollars at the table when you're using LinkedIn's inbox. It doesn't scale with your screen. You cannot fit in the information. You cannot assign tasks as you can do with LeadDelta. And more so than not, people keep outreaching to you on LinkedIn, but there's no way for you to prioritize those conversations. Well, now you can. You can assign tags. You can say, today I'm just going to work on my trials. Or today I'm just going to work on LeadDelta customers, right? And basically focus on what your task is, not what LinkedIn network wants you to be focused on, right? And you can also pin the most important conversations to the top, which is kind of pretty cool. It's all real time. It's all directly connected to your LinkedIn.
Well, I love it, man. It makes sense. We got to show us David Manjura, our chief RevOps officer. He's going to geek out after all of this. So from a deliverable tasks, like people, what's typically involved and how long does it typically take to reach full productivity?
Beautiful. Such an important question. So basically, to register for LeadDelta, you don't need a credit card. It's completely free. You get 7-day free trial. It takes, 30 seconds to register. Then it takes another 2 minutes to sync your LinkedIn contacts and off you go. Our next immediate step is invite your teammates, get more people to connect their LinkedIn accounts so you can expand your reach. That's it.
I like it. Faster, cheaper, more efficient. Talk to me about KPI. How are people typically evaluating your software success? Has it to do with is it something measurable? Is it a feeling? What are they typically measuring the success of LeadDelta on?
Let me ask you back. Is it better to sell on a feeling or on a KPI? What's your experience?
I think it's I could guess, right? I think Americans buy their feelings, but I want to help them buy in their KPIs. That's the point in the marketplace. So, right. I'm assuming that it's they feel like they have a map of all their teammates, connections, and how they're all selling together. But I would imagine that the KPI would be ultimately meetings booked and revenue generated.
100%, 100%. Well, you got it right.
Sorry for answering it.
People
on me.
I love your answer. Listen, so first things first, people really do feel like magic, and that for the first time they own connections. They own their network, right? So you know they can do anything with their data all of a sudden. So that's the first magical moment within the first 2 minutes. Okay, and within the first week, teams and individuals get to save anywhere between an hour to like 3 hours a day if they're spending time on LinkedIn anyways. So instead of again scrolling, you actually get to work your network, which is the whole point of it. And this is primarily we're talking about people whose ACVs, average contract value is like over $5,000, right? If it's lower than that, then you probably want to just spray it and see manage your conversion rates. But in our case, it's pretty much people that really care about their network, and when they're growing it, they want to keep it and expand it. So the productivity piece plays a big role. Then another thing is we're dramatically shortening the sales cycle for collaborative teams, meaning let's say you're an HR or in recruitment and I'm a sales guy. If I'm trying to penetrate Google as an account, well, maybe on the other side of the table, you have someone at Google that you can intro me to. So we feel that warm introductions are back, and for the first time, we can actually plug them into a software. So this is, we're seeing like 2 to 3x. There's actually case studies of LeadDelta.com that you can check that are actually shortening the sales cycle 2 to 3x. LeadDelta sales cycle is 2 weeks, literally from the.
So basically, what we're finding is that when teams work introductions via LinkedIn and within their network, that the deals come out with shorter sales cycles. So buyers not come in saying that's a business challenge, but you're observing that that's turning into your case study. So you're trying to get them to understand that, like, hey, measure us on the ability to generate meetings through collaboration on LinkedIn. A byproduct is going to be more qualified meetings and a shorter sales cycle.
100%. Next step up for us is to basically plug your LinkedIn data into a CRM, whatever CRM you use. I'm not going to name names, but all the big ones and some small ones.
You guys integrate HubSpot, Salesforce, Pipedrive, right?
Basically. So, and then we're going to be able to tie us back directly into revenue. So LeadDelta actions will basically become your CRM actions, next to your email, your phone call, or whatever. And this is the ultimate game changer, where we're going to be able to say, these LeadDelta actions actually impacted the close time and a deal value.
I love it. I'm like, look, you're going to continue to innovate. I look forward to getting you back on the podcast to talk about some other listings. Any special offers? Any discount codes? Any special offers for CloudTask members? You got Stripe, don't you?
Yeah, listen, always
set up a special offer in seconds, man.
For your audience, always. So currently, we have a no-brainer offer. It's so no-brainer that people believe if it's even real. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for $99 a month, you can basically onboard up to 100 seats.
$99 a month, 100 seats.
Yes, and that's gonna be.
If I should have that listing here, should have said $99 a month. We got to change it. So, guys, everybody, in the comments when I publish this, there's going to be that special offer from Ved, and then talk to me about where people connect with you. Right? If people want to find you, I'm guessing it's LinkedIn. You got to build that network.
That's right. Let's get
LinkedIn.
Twitter, you can find me all around.
Why did you leave your last name off? It says Ved LeadDelta. Can we write your last name here?
Because that's my last name. My last name is LeadDelta.
No, how do I spell it? It's R, right? What is it?
RASIC. Rasic.
Oh man, look at me! Look at that, guys. If you want to connect with Ved, he's an awesome dude. We were having coffee in San Francisco 2 weeks ago, and I think maybe 10 people that walked by were shaking his hand. He's super connected. He's always happy to help. He was one of my recent new buddies as I made the move to San Fran. Thank you for showing me the hospitality, and check out the special offer in the comment. And then I look forward to seeing your innovations. And yeah, man, excited to see your journey from chief revenue officer at a mutual friend's client to an exit to fixing real world problems. Anybody who's been tuning in to the Transform Sales podcast, we appreciate you. Any last words? No?
Let's
That's
go.
it. That's it. Let's go.